an internationally renowned a cappella ensemble. Their harmonies have carried the weight of history and the hope of liberation for decades. Tonight, they lift their voices in honor of a kindred spirit, Nikki Giovanni. Please welcome Sweet Honey in the Rock.
Well, hello there. Hello, hello. Am I on? Am I on? Okay. All right, Romeo. It is such, oh my God, it's so exciting and wonderful and brilliant for us to be here with you all today to celebrate my soror, woo-woo, Nikki Giovanni. So, Sweet Honey in the Rock would like to share this song with you to open up this magnificent event. It's written by Isai Maria Barnwell, and it says, for each child that's born, a morning star rises, sings to the universe who we are, and we are one. Well, for each child that's born, a morning star rises, sings to the universe who we are, who we are. Each child born, morning star rises, sing to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, morning star rises, sing to the universe who we are. We are our grandmother's prayers. We all are our grandfather's dreamings. We are the breath of the ancestors. We are the spirit of God. We are mothers of courage, fathers of time, daughters of dust, sons of great visions, sisters of mercy, brothers of love, lovers of light, builders of nations, seekers of truth, keepers of faith, makers of peace, wisdom of ages. We are our grandmother's prayers. We all are our grandfather's dreamings. We are the breath of the ancestors. We are the spirit of God. We are one. 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 Spirit of God, for each child born, a morning star rises, sings to the universe who we are. For each child born, a morning star rises, sings to the universe who we are. Oh, each child born, a morning star rises, sings who we are. For each child that's born, a morning star rises, sings to the universe who we are. We are one. We are one. We are one. Ashe. Thank you so much.
Our hosts for the evening, #1 New York Times best-selling authors, Renée Watson and Kwame Alexander.
There were a lot of people and institutions that came together to pull this wonderful tribute and memorial off, and we want to start by thanking Virginia Tech. Y'all can clap. In particular, Michael Webb and Jenny Boone worked intimately to pull this off. We want to thank some folks who lended a hand and helped with funding this. So really want to shout out B.K. Fulton and Will Ferrer. Thank you so much. Nikki told me on several occasions that she did not want a tribute. After the Toni Morrison tribute and the Lucille Clifton tribute that she produced, I said, Nikki, we want to do one to celebrate you. And she didn't even say no. She just gave me a look that said, no. Trying to get here on Friday night proved to be very challenging. My flight got canceled in Buffalo, and I had to spend the night in Buffalo. And so on Saturday morning, I got a flight to Washington, D.C., whereupon I saw Edwidge Danticat, Javon Jackson, Nikki's cousin Pat in the airport, and we were waiting for our flight at 8 o'clock, and about 2 p.m. we were still waiting for our flight. And so I wanted to do something to get us here for Nikki's funeral, so I walked away from the group and I called a private jet company. I wasn't trying to flex, y'all. I was trying to get us here to pay tribute to Nikki, and I had allotted $10,000 to fly us here. That's what Nikki would have wanted. So they came back and they said the cost will only be $37,000. And so we didn't take a private jet. I assume that was Nikki saying, I don't want a tribute. That's what you do when people are gone, Kwame. Do you know why she was so adamant about not having a tribute?
I think she wanted to make sure she was putting the honor on other people. And so while she was living, she focused a lot on celebrating other poets. And I think that because this is her birthday weekend, it is very appropriate to celebrate her because she did celebrate her birthday. Sometimes in small, simple ways, but also in big ways, like her 80th birthday party. So I am thinking that Nikki's very happy about us gathering this weekend to celebrate her and her legacy. And we are so thankful that all of you have joined us in this celebration to honor the poet and the person, Nikki Giovanni.
We are here today on the campus that you taught at for 37 years to celebrate you, Nikki. We are here today in the place you made a home with Virginia Fowler to honor your family. We are here today to grieve and mourn and remember and laugh and love you. I do not remember the first time I met you, but I do remember the first time riding around this campus in your red Mazda Miata. Me, the passenger, your son Thomas, the driver, and I do remember Thomas and I fussing about how hard you were on us and how unfair it was. And I do remember thinking the whole time how lucky Thomas was to have you as a mother. And I do remember someday, one day, maybe 20 years later, my mother passed, and you would come to the funeral, Nikki, and you would let me know that I still had a mother. And I do remember knowing how lucky I was to have two mothers and never thinking that one day I would have to bury two mothers. When was the first time you met her?
Well, you introduced me to Nikki. I will never forget this text message I got from Kwame that said, Nikki just read your book, Piecing Me Together, and she wants me to introduce her to you. And I said, I'm sorry, who? Nikki who? And I was stunned and honored, and before we met in person, she wrote me a letter, and I wrote her back, and then she wrote me again, and I wrote her back. So for a few months, we were writing each other letters. And then I got to meet her at your home. And I remember being so nervous because I'm meeting the icon, Nikki Giovanni, who I grew up reading, who I taught in the classroom, and who impacted my writing. And then I met her, and I realized I didn't need to be nervous because she was down to earth and funny and kind and warm. And over the last few months since her passing, it's been a privilege to hear so many stories from all of you who have pulled us aside and told Kwame and I what she meant to you and how much she showed you her love. Nikki was good at loving, and I always say that because I know that some people are not. Some people love you, but they're not good at showing it. But she was very good at showing that she loved us. And it showed up in ways personally for us, but also we've been collecting these stories. So some of the things that I've heard from you all, she showed love by cooking her rack of lamb, by frying chicken and having you at the dinner table with her. She showed her love by making sure she was gonna sign every book by every person in line, no matter if the venue was closing. She showed her love by speaking to the janitor and the president. She was a person who always wanted to make us feel seen and loved, and I am so grateful that we're here today to celebrate that Nikki. We are honoring her brilliant mind, the poet Nikki, and we are also honoring her brilliant love, the person Nikki. In one of her last interviews, Nikki said, "You're never dead until you're forgotten." Nikki, we will never forget you. We remember, and today we celebrate you. Friends, let's begin.
A Pulitzer Prize-winning poet of extraordinary vision and grace. His words illuminate the inner lives of Black experience. He joins us now to pay tribute to a woman whose pen shaped the soul of a generation. With deep respect, we welcome Jericho Brown.
Black Dictionary. I turned myself into myself and was Jesus. I turned Jesus into a business and was the pastor of a mega church. I turned the church out. I'm Whitney Houston. I'm Sam Cooke. I got a squall on me. You want to see where it comes from. I am Black and comely. I am come to send fire on the earth, not to send peace, but a sword, my sword. All the myths are as true as one woman can be to another. It's true. I'm so fine, you already know what I look like naked. You dream it every night. Everybody's a clock, but I'm Jesse Owens. I got no respect for a stopwatch. I got no respect for a stop sign. I invented the traffic light. I am the light of the world when the sun shines and the people of California breathe air unsullied. I invented the gas mask. I keep you safe. I invented the home security system, so you think you're safe from me. I am the sanctity of marriage for the man Black enough to have me. We take turns turning each other over. I am broader than any idea of myself, and as specific as a word Nikki Giovanni wrote thinking of me. She thought of me before I was born and before she lied down like a road that turns away from us toward the hills of Blacksburg and on into the mountains where even literacy can get lost. lost. What am I to call myself now? Who has a word when I want to be what she saw in me? I turned myself into a question and became an orphan in a black suit. I turned from my mourning to the pages of our family's big black dictionary, orphaned too. Now that everybody's got a smartphone, I turned my phone off so I could hear. She'd say I could walk whatever, go fishing, be the black rod and the black hook that catches and feeds the multitude. She turned me into Jesus. But I can't seem to raise the dead.
A poet of witness, spirit, and memory, she carries forward the legacy of those who speak truth through verse. She comes to honor a sister poet whose light will not dim. It is an honor to invite Glenis Redmond to the stage.
Good afternoon. I'm from South Carolina, y'all. Good afternoon. This poem is for Nikki, and it is her iconic poem, Nikki Rosa. And it is what she always does, makes everything personal, but universal. And some of you who come up the way I did know what I'm talking about. Childhood remembrances are always a drag if you're black. You always remember things like living in Woodlawn with no inside toilet. And if you become famous or something, they never talk about how happy you were to have your mother all to yourself, and how good that water felt when you got your bath in one of those big tubs that folks in Chicago barbecue in. And somehow, when you talk about home, it never gets across how much you understood their feelings as the whole family attended meetings about Hollydale. And even though you remember, your biographers never understand your father's pain as he sells his stock and another dream goes. And though you're poor, it isn't the poverty that concerns you. And though they fought a lot, it isn't your father's drinking that makes a difference, but only that everybody is together and you and your sister have happy birthdays and good Christmases. And I really hope no white person ever has a cause to write about me, because they never understand. Black love is black wealth. And they'll probably talk about my hard childhood and never understood all the while I was quite happy.
Playwright, director, and cultural worker Goldie Patrick carries forth the fire of black womanhood and truth-telling sparked by Nikki Giovanni's legacy. Come on out here, Sister Goldie.
Y'all look good. I am honored to read Resignation, the first poem I fell in love with. Thank you, Nikki, for teaching us how to love. I love you because the earth turns round the sun, because the north wind blows north sometimes, because the Pope is Catholic and most rabbis Jewish, because the winters flow into springs and the air clears after a storm, because only my love for you, despite the charms of gravity, keeps me from falling off this earth into another dimension. I love you
because it is the natural order of things. I love you like the habit I picked up in college of sleeping through lectures or saying I'm sorry when I get stopped for speeding, because I drink a glass of water and chain smoke cigarettes all through the day, because I take my coffee black and my chocolate with milk, because you keep my feet warm through my life a mess. I love you because I don't want it any other way. I am helpless in my love for you. It makes me so happy to hear you call my name. I'm amazed you can resist locking me in an echo chamber where your voice reverberates through the four walls, sending me into spasmodic ecstasy. I love you because it's been so good for so long that if I didn't love you, I'd have to be born again. And that is not a theological statement. I am pitiful in my love for you. The Dales tell me love is so simple. The thought of you sends indescribably delicious, multitudinous thrills throughout and through in my body. I love you because no two snowflakes are alike. And it is possible, if you stand tippy-toe, to walk in between raindrops. I love you because I'm afraid of the dark and can't sleep in the light. Because I rub my eyes when I wake up in the morning and find you there. Because you, with all your magic powers, were determined that I should love you. Because there was nothing for you but that I would love you. I love you because you made me want to love you more than I love my privacy, my freedom, my commitments and responsibilities. I love you because I changed my life to love you. Because you saw me one Friday afternoon and decided that I would love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. Thank you.
Please welcome Dr. Tonya Marie Matthews, President and CEO of the International African American Museum. She is a poet and national leader in STEM equity. Her work lives at the intersection of history, advocacy, and art, reflecting Nikki Giovanni's profound influence on those who speak with truth, purpose, and power.
They told me I could choose any Nikki Giovanni poem I wanted. Yeah, some of y'all laughing because you might have already figured this out. So I chose the sassily wise comeback poem, a poem I think every soon-to-be powerful little black girl needs to hear. A poem for a lady whose voice I like. So he said, "You ain't got no talent. If you didn't have a face, you wouldn't be nobody." And she said, "God created heaven and earth and all that's black within them." And so he said, "You ain't really no hot shh. They tell me plenty sisters take care of better business than you." And she said, "On the third day he made chitlins and all good things to eat and said, that's good." So he said, "If white folks hadn't been under your skirt and been giving you the big play, you'd have had to come on uptown like everybody else." And she replied, "Then he took a big black greasy rib from Adam and said, we will call this woman. And her name will be Sapphire, and she will divide into 4 parts so that Simone may sing a song." And he said, "You pretty full of yourself, ain't you?" And she finally replied, "Show me someone not full of herself, and I'll show you a hungry person."
But once we realized once somebody realized we cannot make it, we have been defeated. Whatever it is, it's going forward, and we can't do anything about it. I always think it was an older woman, because I like older women. I think we're the best things on earth. There is no African language, so she had to find a way to comfort her people. And she did that with a moan. And that moan was heard. And it's what carried us to this new world that we're going to make, that we're going to be the people that are going to determine any number of things about it. But as we had that moan, and those of you who know your spirituals, and most of you don't and you should, of all of the spirituals that we know, there's not a one that seeks revenge. There's not a one that seeks hatred. There's not a one that puts anybody down. I think it's a wonderful thing that you can be a part of a people who learn to love. I think the most exciting history in the country, and I mean no disrespect to anybody else's history, is the history of Black Americans, because we are the people who recreated ourselves. And there will be, at some point, a history that people like the poets have laid down. When we look at it, Europeans came to America, but they really remained Europeans. They just transformed it here. We are the only people that came to America that became Americans, because we had to completely recreate ourselves. And it's a fascinating history. We did that mostly with song.
Please welcome the Blacksburg Master Chorale and Virginia Tech Chamber Singers under the direction of composer, pianist, and director of choral activities at Virginia Tech, Dr. Dwight Bigler, and featuring vocalist, associate chair, and multiple university award-winning associate professor of English, Dr. Gena Chandler.
Good afternoon. You've heard Nikki's love for the spirituals. We're pleased to offer two selections for you today. My Soul's Been Anchored in the Lord, arranged by Glenis Jones, and In That Great Getting Up Morning, arranged by Jester Harrison.
In the Lord, my soul's been anchored in the Lord. In the Lord, my soul's been anchored in the Lord. In the Lord, my soul's been anchored in the Lord. In the Lord, my soul's been anchored in the Lord. My hope is built on nothing less. My soul's been anchored in the Lord. Than Jesus' blood and righteousness. My soul's been anchored in the Lord. I dare not trust the sweetest frame. My soul's been anchored in the Lord. But wholly lean on Jesus' name. My soul's been anchored in the Lord. In the Lord, my soul's been anchored in the Lord. In the Lord, my soul's been anchored in the Lord. My soul's been anchored in Jesus. My soul's been anchored in Jesus. My soul anchored in Jesus. My soul anchored in Jesus. Jesus, lover of my soul, let me to thy bosom fly, while the nearer waters roll, while the tempest still is nigh. Hide me, O my Savior, hide, till the storm of life is past, safe into the haven's guide, or redeem my soul at last. In the Lord, my soul's been anchored in the Lord. In the Lord, my soul's been anchored in the Lord. In the Lord. anchored in the Lord, in the Lord, in the Lord. My soul's been anchored in the Lord, anchored in the Lord, in the Lord, in the Lord, in the There's a better day a-coming. There's a better day a-coming. In that break, in that morning, very well, very well. In that break, in that morning, very well, very well. In that break, in that morning, very well, very well. In that break, in that morning, very well, very well. Oh, preacher, fold your Bible. Very well, very well. Preacher, fold your Bible. For the last souls converted. For the last souls converted. In that break, in that morning, very well, very well. In that break, in that morning, very well, very well. In that break, in that morning, very well, very well. In that break, in that morning, very well, very well. Blow your trumpet, Gabriel. Very well. Lord, how loud shall I blow it? Very well, very well. Blow it right, calm and easy. Do not alarm all my people. Very well, very well. Do not both come to the judgment. In that break, in that morning, very well, very well. In that break, in that morning, very well, very well. In that break, in that morning, very well, very well. In that break, in that morning, very well, very well. Didn't you see them coffins busting? Very well, very well. Didn't you see them folks is rising? Very well. Didn't you see the world on fire? Very well, very well. Didn't you see the stars are falling? Very well. Didn't you see that forked lightning? Very well, very well. Didn't you hear that rumbling thunder? Very well, poor sinner. Very well, very well, poor sinner. In that break, in that morning,
We are pleased to welcome Renée Watson back to the stage.
So my relationship with Nikki, after getting to know her for a little while, she adopted me as her daughter. One day we were in the kitchen and she was cooking, and out of the blue, she just turned to me and said, "You know, daughters are a good idea." And so for years, I lived with two moms on this earth, my mother, Carrie Elizabeth Watson, and Nikki Giovanni. And 3 years ago, when my mother passed away, Nikki reached out to me every day for the first 30 days that my mother was not on this earth. She called or sent a text message or mailed me something and let me know that I had her and that she had me. We would often talk about how thrilled we were at the idea that her grandmother and my mother were in heaven and that they got to meet and talk about us and what we were up to. And Nikki was always joking about the fact that Black women in heaven are always bragging on their children and competing about who's doing what and who's doing this. And so for her 80th birthday, I wrote this poem in honor of what she said to me about our mamas. Heaven, for Nikki Giovanni's 80th birthday. Heaven must be a mess. All those Black women up there bragging on their children. Nikki Giovanni. Every year on the 7th of June, heaven throws a birthday party for Nikki. Coretta is there. She's protective of Ayanna and Hadia. She introduces them to Sandra and Brianna, keeps them close. And surely Harriet and Fanny and Rosa are swapping stories of how they got over. And Lucille and Gwendolyn and Margaret recite sonnets, teach them to Betty. And Toni and Maya are writing jubilees for the angels to sing. And you better believe Whitney is showing out. And Nina and Aretha and Mahalia too. And no doubt there are women there whose names we don't know. Grandmas and mamas, aunties and sisters and cousins and best friends and used to be friends and strangers. And my mama, Carrie Elizabeth, is there too. And they do what Black women always do when we gather, feast and gossip and fill time with laughter and reminiscing. And they say what Black women always say when we talk to God. Thank him for what he's done. Plead with him to go easy on us. Ask him, haven't Black women suffered enough? And before the feast ends, Nikki's grandmother takes my mother by her hand, walks her to the corner of the sky, says, look at our babies. See them down there? Ain't they a wonder? And all the Black women in heaven sing to the poet Nikki, whose name means victorious, whose name ushers in revolution and radical love. And all the Black women in heaven testify and thank God for Nikki, the truth teller, for Nikki, the nurturer, for Nikki, the lover of chocolate and Knoxville and Cincinnati and Tupac and jazz and gospel and Black folks. Oh, how she loves us, they sing. Oh, how she shows us love. And if you listen close, you can hear their voices echoing from heaven in the shifting wind, in the sprinkle from clouds, in the whisper of a sinking sun, in the shimmering of stars and the crashing waves and the first bloom of flower. Oh, how we love you, Nikki, they sing. Oh, Nikki, how you are loved. Oh, Nikki, thank you for loving us. Oh, Nikki, thank you for showing us how to love. Oh, Nikki, thank you for teaching us Black love is Black wealth. Oh, Nikki, thank you for showing us how. Oh, Nikki, thank you. Thank you.
We are honored to bring to the stage the Wintergreen Women's Writers Collective.
Isn't this wonderful? Nikki would be so excited. We are members of the Wintergreen Women Writers Collective. And it was 38 years ago that Nikki became the catalyst for our group. We came together, met at Wintergreen Resort, and we were meeting ever since. Nikki defied gravity. She didn't let anything or anybody pull her down. So it's appropriate that we're going to read Quilting the Black Eye Rocketed to China. For the same reason Columbus trimmed his sails on a dream of spices. For the very same reason Shackelford was enchanted with penguins. For the reason we fall in love. It's the only adventure.
We're going to Mars because Peary couldn't go to the North Pole without Matthew Henson, because Chicago couldn't be a city without Jean-Baptiste du Sable, because George Washington Carver and his peanut were the right partners for Booker T. It's a life-seeking thing. We're going to Mars because whatever is wrong with us will not get right with us. So, we journey forth carrying the same baggage, but every now and then leaving one little bitty thing behind. Maybe drop torturing hunchbacks here. Maybe drop lynching Billy Budd there. Maybe not whipping Uncle Tom to death. Maybe resisting global war.
One day, looking for prejudice to slip. One day, looking for hatred to tumble by the wayside. One day, maybe the whole community will no longer be vested in who sleeps with whom. Maybe one day, the Jewish community will be at rest. The Christian community will be content. The Muslim community will be at peace. And all the rest of us will get great meals at holy days and learn new songs and sing in harmony.
We're going to Mars because it gives us a reason to change. If Mars came here, it would be ugly. Nations would band together to hunt down and kill Martians. And being the stupid, undeserving life forms that we are, we would also hunt down and kill what would be termed Martian sympathizers. As if the fugitive slave law wasn't bad enough then. As if the so-called war on terrorism isn't pitiful now. When do we learn, and what does it take to teach us things cannot be what we want, when we want, as we want? Other people have ideas and inputs. And why won't they leave Rat Browne alone? The future is ours to take.
We're going to Mars because we have the hardware to do it. We have rockets and fuel and money and stuff. And the only reason NASA is holding back is they don't know if what they send out will be what they get back. So let me slow this down. Mars is 1 year of travel to get there, plus 1 year of living on Mars, plus 1 year to return to Earth, equals 3 years of Earthlings being in a tight space, going to an unknown place with unsure welcoming waiting them. Tired muscles, unknown and unusual foods, harsh conditions, and no known landmarks to keep them human. Only a hope and a prayer that they will be shadowed beneath a benign hand. And there is no historical precedence for that.
Accept this. The trip to Mars can only be understood through Black Americans. I say, the trip to Mars can only be understood through Black Americans. The people who were captured and enslaved immediately recognized the men who chained and whipped them and herded them into ships so tightly packed there was no room to turn, no privacy to respect, no tears to fall without landing on another. We're not kind, gentle, and concerned for the state of their souls, no. The men with whips and with chains were understood to be killers, feared to be cannibals, known to be sexual predators. The captured knew they were in trouble, in an unknown place, without communicable abilities, with a violent and capricious species.
But they could look out and still see signs of home. They could smell the sweetness in the air. They could see the clouds floating above the land they loved. But there reached a point where the captured could not only not look back, they had no idea which way back might be. There was nothing in the middle of the deep blue water to indicate which way home might be, and it was that moment when the decision had to be made. Do they continue forward with the resolve to see this thing through, or do they embrace the waters and find another world? In the belly of the ship, a moan was heard, and someone picked up the moan, and a song was raised, and that song would offer comfort and hope and tell the story.
When we go to Mars, it's the same thing. It's the middle passage. When the rocket's red glares and the astronauts will be able to see themselves pull away from Earth, as the ship goes deeper, they will see a sparkle of blue. And then one day, not only will they not see Earth, they won't know which way to look. And that is why NASA needs to call Black America. They need to ask us, how did you calm your fears? How were you able to decide you were human even when everything said you were not? How did you find the comfort in the face of the improbable to make the world you came to your world? How was your soul able to look back and wonder?
And we will tell them what to do. To successfully go to Mars and back, you will need a song. Trouble in mind, I'm blue, yes I am, but I won't be blue always, 'cause the sun's gonna shine in my back door someday. And you'll need some Charlie Parker Ba 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 doo bye, ba ba doo bye, ba ba doo bye. For the happy ones, but always keep at least one good spiritual for comfort.
By and by, Lord, when the morning comes,
You will need a slice or two of meatloaf, and if you can manage it, some fried chicken in a shoebox with a nice, moist lemon pound cake. And a bottle of beer, because no one should go that far without a beer. And maybe a six-pack, so that if there is life on Mars, you can share. Popcorn for the celebration when you land, while you wait for your land legs to kick in. And as you climb down the ladder from your spaceship to the Martian surface, look to your left.
And you will see a smiling community quilting a black-eyed pea, watching you descend.
With gratitude, we invite cellist, singer, and composer Shauna Tucker, whose music blends classical training with the heart of jazz and soul. She plays not only with skill, but with spirit, joining us in this sacred art of remembrance.
Raindrops on roses and whiskers on kittens. Brown paper packages and warm woolen mittens. Brown paper packages tied up with strings. These are a few of my favorite things. Cream-colored ponies and crisp apple strudel. Doorbells and sleigh bells and schnitzel with noodles. Wild geese that fly with the moon on their wings. These are a few of my favorite things. Girls in white dresses with blue satin sashes. Snowflakes that stay on my nose and eyelashes. Oh, silver white winters that melt into springs. These are a few of my favorite things. When the dog bites, when the bee stings, when I'm feeling sad, I simply remember my favorite things, and then I don't feel so bad. I don't feel so bad. dress with blue satin sashes. Oh, snowflakes that stay on my nose and eyelashes. Silver white winters that melt into springs. These are a few of my favorite things. When the dog bites, when the bee stings, when I'm feeling sad, I simply remember my favorite things, and then I don't feel so bad, so bad. I don't feel so bad when I have a few of my favorite things. Oh, when I have a few of my favorite things.
Thank you.
The whole thing about food, first of all, is who you're cooking with and who you're cooking for. I teach writing, and one of the things I say to my students, it's not what you're writing, it's why. And cooking is the same thing.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show, Nikki Giovanni, a living legend. These foods are foundational to Southern cooking if you know what to do with them. And trust, Nikki knows what to do with them.
So not only is it a part of the pig that most people don't eat, it's a lot of work to get to them.
Everything that's good is a lot of work.
Okay, now you're doing the thing you do.
Yeah. And you just kind of stand there and hum, if you like the blues, which I do.
Oh yeah, just so it melts.
It's good.
I think pretty good.
Not pretty good. Good.
I feel like sometimes in my life I've been accused of not being black enough. I feel like eating pig's feet with Nikki Giovanni is like a real solid punch in my black card.
Those people are just jealous.
A truth teller in his own right, Emmy-winning comedian, host, and cultural commentator Kamau brings humor and clarity to conversations that matter. In honoring Nikki, he joins a legacy of voices unafraid to speak and to speak boldly. Please welcome W. Kamau Bell.
Hello, hello, hello. My voice is going. I've been in New York all weekend, but I'm happy to be here. I don't know how much better I can do than what you just saw up there when Nikki was on my show, United Shades of America on CNN. First of all, I'm happy to be here. I don't know how you could not be happy to be here, even though the occasion may be somewhat sad. To be invited to a room to celebrate Nikki Giovanni means you're doing the right thing in life. First of all, let's be clear about that. Yes. I feel like I'm more famous in this room than any room I've been in recently. Other legends are asking me for pictures, and it's sort of freaking me out a little bit. But I think if I'm going to be famous in any room, again, I want to be famous in a room that honors and celebrates Nikki Giovanni. So I must have done something right. Thank you very much, Lord Jesus. Okay. When Kwame asked me to do this several months ago, he said, I want you to be there for this. And I said, sure. And he kept checking in with me. You're going to be there? I was like, yeah, I'm going to be there. I didn't know why it was so important for me to be here. Of course, I'm happy to be invited. I love Nikki Giovanni. I had her on first time I interacted with her was on my podcast, Politically Reactive. And I thought she just took the booking because she was free. Then we were on United Shades of America together, where I ate pig's feet for the first time, which shocked my Alabama family. They thought I was too soft to do something like that, being that I'm a northerner. And And then I was honored to be at the Sundance Film Festival when Going to Mars, the Nikki Giovanni project, was there in competition. Joe Brewster and Michelle Stevenson's film, a documentary about Nikki Giovanni. Yes. And I was on the juror committee to pick what film would win that year, and I kind of felt like it was unfair because I don't want to say it was an inside job, but they won. That's all I'll say. It was me and 2 other acclaimed filmmakers, and I would be like, I don't know, seems like that Nikki one was pretty good. I don't know, it's just me. I just want to be able to see Nikki Giovanni again. And then I got to spend time with her when they were promoting that film and on the press circuit for that film, and I got to see her in Los Angeles when they screened the film. And when I walked into the room and she was there, one of the financiers of the film, producers of the film, said, "Oh, do you know Kamau Bell?" And she went, "I know him." I've never been so happy to be so casually dismissed before. She was like, "I don't need to meet him. I already know that Negro." And I was like, yay! I'm not that important, but I am in the room. So yes, Kwame asked me to be here today, and he kept really making sure I was gonna be here, and I didn't know why. And then I got here, and I looked at something told me to look at the list of speakers, and I said, "Oh, Sweet Honey in the Rock is here. That's amazing." I was like, oh, maybe that's why he wants me to be here. So, I recently performed at the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C., the day after the so-called president took over the Kennedy Center. At least he said he did. It's not actually in his job description. It'd be like me walking into a Starbucks and saying I'm the manager, but that's what he did. I'll wait, it's fine. It's fine. No. So I had already been booked to be at the Kennedy Center to perform stand-up comedy months before, and I was on the flight going to DC when they said he had taken over the Kennedy Center. And I got a call, I got emails from people like, "Are you gonna do it?" The Kennedy Center's like, "Do you still wanna do the show? It's up to you." And I was like, I mean, I'm on my way. What am I gonna do in DC if I don't do my show? I've already done the tourist sighting. And so I thought about it a lot, and then President Trump came out with a statement, said he had to take it over because it had gotten too wokey. I was like, oh, I'm doing the show now, okay. You thought it was wokey before. I opened on a Negro spiritual, swing low. But part of the reason I did it, and I love to be a student of my people, is I had read about Sweet Honey in the Rock going to, I think it was North Carolina, to protest the anti-trans bathroom bills there. And a lot of artists canceled, Bruce Springsteen, a lot of big ones. And Sweet Honey in the Rock said, we have to go because our people are there and they need to hear from us and we can give them some love and joy and help keep them active and alive. And I was like, in the gigantic footsteps of Sweet Honey in the Rock, I'm gonna go do this show in DC. And I did do the show, yes. And so I thought that's maybe Kwame read my Substack about that and he really wanted me to see them. And then I looked on this and I was like, wait, I'm speaking. Okay, thanks for the notice, Kwame. So I didn't know that I was speaking today and maybe I didn't check an email, but I feel, it's okay. I think I'm doing pretty good. I feel so incredibly honored and so grateful to be here, and I'd feel just as grateful if I was out there. And I think that those of us who are in this room, somehow we have a connection to Nikki, somehow we either meant something to her, she meant something to us. And I think what we need to do is take this energy out with us back into the world, because this country needs all of us right now. Shout out to my people in Los Angeles who are on the front lines of fascism right now, betting it back. The way, doing exactly what Nikki would have wanted us to do, what wants them to do, and I'm sure she's splitting her time between LA and here right now. One more thing I want to say, and this is personal. When Nikki passed away, I online terminally, as my wife would say, and I'm on all the social media sites except for that one owned by the South African apartheid fan. But I'm on social, and I saw a lot of people, a lot of black people who were sad that Nikki had passed, but then also were shocked to discover that Jenny was Nikki's partner. And those black people seem to have some opinions about who Nikki Giovanni should have been with. And as a black man who's partnered with a white woman, I really got in my feelings seeing that. You can judge me and my marriage if you want to, I can take it. But who the hell are you to judge Nikki Giovanni and who she loves and who loves her back? If there's anything Nikki would want us to know, I think, this is my opinion, I hold this opinion myself, want us to know there are way more important issues in the world right now, in this country right now, in this state right now, that we need to be on the front lines of, other than who you go home with at the end of the night and who you love. Thank you, Nikki Giovanni. Thank you for everything. Thank you.
Jessica Care Moore is an award-winning poet, publisher, and activist whose work carries the revolutionary spirit of Black womanhood. Her voice, bold and uncompromising, stands powerfully in the legacy of Nikki Giovanni.
I'm out here. Thank you. When I opened my 19-year-old poet mouth, many years ago, and if any elder was in an earshot, the first name that they said to me was, do you know, or question was, do you know who Nikki Giovanni is? And the answer was yes. I was honored by my mother to put books in my house by Nikki Giovanni when I was such a little girl. And her fearlessness and her writing shaped the poet that I dreamt to be one day. I've been traveling with her since I was 22. And I'm just thankful to be here. So this poem, I actually read this poem at the Sundance Film Festival. I was also there, Kamau Bell, who I love so much. He has no idea I love him. I read at the screening at Sundance. I happened to be in town, and it was perfect timing. And this is I Am Not Ready to Die because I'm a strong believer in that the goats don't die, and Nikki is the goat, and so she is here with us now. I am not ready to die a little more today. My nails are polished a bright aquamarine. My skin smells like the ocean. In my hair, I'm wearing the flowers he left on my doorstep. Tiger's eye and turquoise are wrapped around my wrist. Do I look like I'm attempting an early death? My headphones sound like Sade. I wish these new girls would get off their knees and transform a room with some subtle power and grace. Sade doesn't really dance, poet, and that is the point. When did it become okay to die in this country on our knees? The Walking Dead, a 24-hour day spa, they parade in groups. Hell, I need a massage too, but at what price? I gotta stand behind mediocre bars just because the kids rock to it? I've yet to hear an MC destroy the alphabet more gangster than Nikki or Intozaki, so I ain't ready to die today. Won't participate in the spirit massacre of our children. My throat is on fire, my pen is hot. Intozaki is dead, Intozaki will never die. Nikki Giovanni is dead, Nikki Giovanni will never die. I'm more alive at 53 than most of these wannabe Euro inside-out millennials. I've graduated from digital slavery masterclass. I read books without screens. I have sex with men my age whenever I feel like it. I love my hair, my ass, my breasts. I'm clear my power is between my ears, inside my chest. Black girl magic doesn't grow between our legs. This is the mythology of men. How much to get off your knees, sis? This pen is a knife, stabbing out the hearts of dead trees. These trees already dead anyway, a walking dead urban forest. We are surrounded, so I continue to climb, to write, because I ain't ready to die today or tomorrow. I'm going to keep living inside poems. You didn't know what left for you if you would just get off the goddamn floor. You can see all these poems, all this royalty, all this world they attempt to kill you with is really your universe to inherit, to change, to rebuild. Get off your knees. Stop crawling for them. Stand up, Queen Latifah, Light, Lauren, Missy Elliott, Left Eye, Bahamadir, Rod Digger, Roxanne, Rhapsody, K. Valentine, Mama Soul. Microphones are not stripper poles. Sonya, Audrey, Maya, Indazaki, Jane, Lucille, Nikki, Toni, Asha, Stacey Ann, Akira, Mahogany, Elizabeth, Goldie, Lisa, Michelle, me, us. We need you. We need you to stop dying. Stop dying. Stop dying to be less than who you were destined to be. We need you to outlive death in all its forms. Live, 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 so patriarchy can finally die. Thank you. I love you, Nikki.
The Leah Glenn Dance Theater is dedicated to cultivating a greater understanding of the world in which we live through thought-provoking works of art that entertain, inspire, and challenge its audiences. We value and focus on community-based art making rooted in social justice.
Good afternoon. My name is Leah Glenn Prince, and I am the founder and artistic director of Leah Glenn Dance Theater. It's a pleasure and an honor to be here with you all this afternoon. My dancers are going to present a piece entitled Hush, which is inspired by my relationship with my autistic son. I chose this piece for this occasion because I choreographed it to promote awareness, to provide a voice and a space for those families living with autism, much in the same way that Nikki continuously held space and created space for so many. So in this moment, dear Nikki, my wintergreen sister, my soror, we dance for you. Thank you.
Please, Mom, hear what I'm doing, see what I'm saying. The world is a crazy, confusing, scary place for me. I can't do things other kids do. My body doesn't work right, but inside, I'm just like other kids. I need to be loved and appreciated. I need to belong, to fit in. I need to contribute, to be useful. I need to be heard and understood. I desperately want you to be proud of me. I want to tell you my needs, my feelings, my thoughts, but they get trapped inside me because I can't get my mouth to say the words. There gets so much piled up inside me that sometimes it just blows up everywhere. And I know you're disappointed in me, and you get angry at me, and somehow it's all my fault. My actions speak so loudly, you can't see what I'm saying. Yet, my actions are my saying. My body says what my mouth can't. I act out my feelings, but often the acting out is such a problem that my feelings go unnoticed. But I have no other way of telling you my feelings. I want to cooperate, to succeed, to contribute, to feel good about myself. But to do that, I must be heard. Please, Mom, hear what I'm doing, see what I'm saying.
Sometimes I feel like a mother. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child, alone. Sometimes I feel like I'm a long, long way from. Sometimes I feel like a long way
like a motherless child.
Sometimes I feel like a motherless child.
Oh, sometimes I feel like I'm almost gone. Telling you sometimes I feel like I'm almost gone. I'm almost gone. Well, sometimes I feel like I'm almost gone. And I'm a long way from a home. Sometimes I feel like I'm almost gone.
Long way from home. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child.
Oh, true believer,
True believer,
true believer,
true believer,
true believer. Yes, I'm a long way from home. True believer, true believer, true believer. Sometimes I feel just like I'm almost gone. Sometimes I feel like I'm almost gone. I'm almost gone. Telling you sometimes I feel like I'm almost gone. Yes, I'm a long way, a long way from home. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child, but I can hear my mother calling me. She's calling me. I can hear my mother's voice. I can hear my mother's voice. And she's calling me. But I can hear my mother. She's calling me. Oh, won't you come on home, child? Cross the waters. But I'm a long way from home. Well, sometimes you know I feel just like. Sometimes I feel just like I'm a motherless child. Telling you sometimes I feel like a motherless child. Lord knows I'm a motherless child. Yeah.
Sometimes I feel sometimes I feel like sometimes I feel like a motherless
Hey, but you know I'm a long way from home. But I can hear my mother's voice calling me back.
Sometimes
Come on home,
like
come on home. I miss you, child, but I'm a long way.
Sometimes I feel like
from a home.
a long way from home. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child.
A servant of the people and advocate for education, he stands today to recognize the profound impact Nikki Giovanni made in the lives of students, citizens, and the Commonwealth. With appreciation, we invite Delegate Chris Obenshain.
Thank you. It's such a privilege to be here today to celebrate the life and the work of Nikki Giovanni. As the representative for the 41st House District, which includes Virginia Tech, I had the honor of introducing House Joint Resolution 511 in this past legislative session. This resolution celebrates and recognizes just a few of the innumerable contributions and impact that Nikki Giovanni had, not just on this community, but on our entire Commonwealth. This resolution was passed in January unanimously by both the House and the Senate, and I'm so pleased that so many of my colleagues in both chambers signed on as co-patrons of this resolution, and that it will be permanently recorded in the rolls of the Commonwealth so that future generations may know why we celebrate and honor Nikki Giovanni. On behalf of the entire General Assembly, I present this resolution to the family of Nikki Giovanni in recognition of her life and her service. Thank you.
Please welcome B.K. Fulton, class of 1989, Traci DeShazor, class of 2008, and Jordan Holmes, class of 2014.
To the world, she was a renowned poet and author. She was an activist, a revolutionary, a militant, a great orator and debater. She didn't shy away from hard-pressing issues, but rather leaned into them. To Virginia Tech students and alumni alike, she was, however, all of those things and so much more. She was ours. She was a distinguished professor. She understood the magic that is Virginia Tech, and she consistently reminded us of the beauty of Blacksburg and the mountains surrounding this truly special place. She reminded us of the importance of wonder and connection. She was ours, and we were so fortunate to share in her presence, her grace, her humor, her brilliance, and her love of Virginia Tech. Whether you knew her intimately or from a distance, from across campus, from downtown Blacksburg, like the post office where I once ran into her and stood there lost for words, to university events that she proudly attended and where through the years I did a much better job of finding my words. She was ours. She was incomparable. She was Nikki Giovanni. She was Virginia Tech. And we should all be grateful to have lived during the same time as her.
Good afternoon. Nikki Giovanni saved my life. Before she became a dear friend, before she became a lifelong mentor, I was a struggling student in her poetry class. To put a finer point on it, a brother was flunking out. One day, she asked us what we wanted to be when we grew up. I had no idea, so I said, a lawyer, thought it would sound good. She went around to other members of the class. About 30 days later, she had a poetry reading in one of the buildings here. And she stood at the door to greet everyone as they came in. And she was there with the Dean of English. When I got to Nikki and the Dean, she said, "This is one of my students, B.K. Fulton, and he's going to be a great lawyer one day." I am? Well, okay. If she believes it, then maybe I can believe it. Be careful what you say over people. Odds are they are listening. After that, I went from the probation's list to the dean's list, then to graduate school at Harvard and the New School on scholarship, then to law school. After that, I became president of a little phone company called Verizon. And then when I came back here, they flew me in a jet as a new member of the board of directors of Virginia Tech. Nikki G, thank you for what you did for me.
Nikki was more than a mentor or teacher to me. She was family. We didn't always talk about work or writing. A lot of the times we talked about life and love. I would send her pictures of my hiking adventures out in the mountains, and she would reply with, "Boy, where's your coat?" Her way of saying that she loved me. I was going through a bad breakup one time, so I gave her a call to vent about it. And she listened so patiently to every word. "I'll never find love again." And she says without missing a beat, "I mean, how could you not love a breakup? You get such amazing poetry." And she was right. I got great poems out of that breakup. Nikki could make you laugh, like when she borrowed my bow tie, did a photo shoot with it, and mailed it back to me with a photo saying, "I think I wore it better." Nikki could push you with love, like when I told her that I never tried chitlins. So she brought some to class in a slow cooker, smelling up the entire building, just because she knew that I needed to try and say yes. She could make you reflect on your duty to people. She was a lover and connector of people, and one of the greatest things that she ever taught me that I will leave you with, as she said, as I began to speak and perform or write books and sign autographs, that you stay for every last person. Because all they are waiting for is an autograph or a moment of your time. And you have no idea what it will mean to them. So Nikki, thank you for giving us all a moment of your time.
Please welcome members of the Virginia Tech English Department.
We are Virginia Tech. We are sad today, and we will be sad for quite a while.
We are not moving on. We are embracing our mourning.
We are Virginia Tech.
We are strong enough to stand tall tearlessly. We are brave enough to bend to cry.
And we are sad enough to know that we must laugh again.
We are Virginia Tech.
We do not understand this tragedy. We know we did nothing to deserve it, but neither does a child in Africa dying of AIDS.
Neither do the invisible children walking the night away to avoid being captured by the rogue army.
Neither does the baby elephant watching his community being devastated for ivory.
Neither does the Mexican child looking for fresh water.
Neither does the Appalachian infant killed in the middle of the night in his crib in the home his father built with his own hands, being run over by a boulder because the land was destabilized. No one deserves a tragedy. We are Virginia Tech.
The Hokie Nation embraces our own and reaches out with open hearts and hands to those who offer their hearts and minds.
We are strong and brave and innocent and unafraid.
We are better than we think, but not quite what we want to be.
We are alive to the imagination and the possibilities.
We will continue to invent the future through our blood and tears and through all our sadness.
We are the Hokies.
We will prevail.
We will prevail.
We will prevail.
We are Virginia Tech.
We are now joined by the president of Virginia Tech, Tim Sands.
Nikki Giovanni was many things to many people around the world. Here at Virginia Tech, where she spent 37 years teaching us about the power of words and the human spirit, she was quite simply a Hokie. She exemplified the spirit of ut prosim, using her gifts to inspire and motivate and comfort others. As president of this university, I would like to be able to express just how much she meant to Virginia Tech and our community, but that's an impossible task. Nikki, on the other hand, would have known exactly what to say. She always seemed to find the words to express what our community was feeling and say what we needed to hear. I'm grateful that her spirit is still with us through her writings and the people she cared deeply about, her friends, family, loved ones, and the students who continue to pass on her legacy. I know from experience what it's like to personally be moved by her words. When I came to Virginia Tech in 2014, she memorialized my installation as president with a poem that continues to inspire and humble me. 3 years ago, she sent me another masterful work, a letter announcing her plans to retire and reflecting on her experiences at this university. I'd like to share some passages from that letter today because I believe they express how much you, her community, meant to her. Dear Dr. Sands, it's difficult to embrace the idea that almost 40 years have passed since I was invited to join the Hokie family. I recall living with my mother since the death of my father, when a letter arrived from Dr. Virginia Fowler inviting me to become a part of the English department. I left my den and went to show it to my mother. Would you like to go to Virginia? I asked. I want to go with you, she replied, and we were on our way. In the letter, Nikki reflects on her family settling in Blacksburg, how much they enjoyed the community, and how hard it was to lose her mother, aunt, and sister in the same year, adding that they are now all in heaven, probably having a beer or two with Dr. Steger and other friends. She concludes by saying, I hope that I'll always be of service to Tech when I am needed. It was one of the saddest days when we faced that tragedy, though Queen Elizabeth asking to meet me lightened the burden. I am so proud of that poem. I have had the pleasure of teaching a Newbery Award winner. The class of 2020 chose me as their ring bearer. I am holding wonderful memories of tech, which you might not know is the very first real job I have ever held. As a writer and performer, I earned my living and took care of my family by my travels. Tech is the only time I have had a real office and all the responsibilities as well as the joys that go with it. I hope I will still be invited to one of our football games, and if there's anything I can do, please don't hesitate. I am a Fisk University graduate, and our motto is, ever on the altar. Now that I am also a Hokie, I appreciate ut prosim. Poetically, Nikki Giovanni, University Distinguished Professor. The legacies are often memorialized through inscriptions on buildings, plaques, and monuments. Nikki Giovanni's legacy lives on in the words she gave us and the hope and vision they continue to inspire. Virginia Tech is proud, honored, and grateful to call her one of our own. Thank you.
I think anybody who reads encountered Baldwin when I did when I was a teenager, because he's been writing for quite some time. I was born in '43, so I've been going to libraries all of my life, and Jimmy, he was Mr. Baldwin to me at that particular time, was one of the first, or one of the earlier black writers writing essays. So, you know, you've been reading Baldwin because, again, you can read him and reread, and I think that's probably a good mark for any writer, to be reread. But I think when my generation, because the Baldwin generation is 20 years older than we are, I think what we saw from them was, you can tell the truth.
All I know that works in the world is a relationship.
Yes, all right.
Okay, that's all that's going to work. It takes two people to have a relationship.
Yeah, but the relationship.
If you don't have a dream, fake it.
But the relationship, you can't fake a dream.
You got to fake it, because we don't have dreams these days. How the hell can you have a dream? For what?
Well, it isn't.
So everybody's jiving, but let's jive on that level.
If I love you, I can't lie to you.
Of course you can lie to me, and you will. If you love me and you're going off with Maddie someplace, you're lying to me. Because what the hell do I care about the truth? I care if you're there. What Billie Holiday say, hush now, don't explain.
Now we will hear from Kwame Alexander and Sweet Honey in the Rock.
Y'all doing? Y'all good? So when I came to Virginia Tech, there was a professor who taught in the English department. And I would pass her in the hall and she would look at me like she didn't like me. So I never signed up for her classes. I didn't think she liked me freshman year or sophomore or junior.
Oh, Lord.
Or senior, or senior. We've gotten to know each other over the past 6 months, and we've made up for time in a way that has been life-giving and life-saving for me, to the point where a few weeks after Nikki passed, I said, Virginia Fowler, I love you. And she said, strangely, I love you too. We could not have a tribute to Nikki Giovanni without Renee and I letting Jenny Fowler know we love her. Ladies and gentlemen, Jenny Fowler. Miracle. This for you, lady. Y'all can stand up, that's fine. Marshall, where you at? Come help, come help. Marshall, come help. I just want you to see the flowers. Those are for you to let you know how much we care and how much we love you, my dear. Thank you.
What's up, Kwame?
Hey, sweet honey in the rock.
Kwame Alexander.
I didn't get the memo about the orange. Y'all clean up nicely. Y'all look good.
We tried.
DC is in the house.
Yeah. Okay.
In 1987, I fashioned myself a love poet.
Well.
I had written this poem about this woman I met on the drill field, which is over there. It's over there, right, Will? That way? I met this woman on the drill field, and she was fine.
Okay.
So I wrote her a poem. Do I remember the poem?
Come on.
Lips like yours ought to be worshipped. See, I ain't never been too religious, but you can baptize me anytime.
Whoa.
Hold up.
I don't know. Wait now. Was that your first poem?
That was the first poem, like real poem, because it actually had an impact on my life. She went out on a date with me.
Okay.
She went to Pizza Inn. Y'all remember that? $4.99, all you can eat.
Hey, big spender.
So when I found out Nikki was teaching advanced poetry, I said, I think I'm qualified.
Advanced.
So I took her class and she gave me a C on my first poem.
Oh, dear.
And a C- on my second poem.
Oh.
See what I'm saying?
I got a C in the class.
Ooh.
And so I was livid and went to talk to her during office hours, and I said, Nikki, I've been listening to Nancy Wilson, and I discovered jazz, and I feel like I'm channeling my jazz motif. And she said, Kwame, you should listen to Billie Holiday and Ella Fitzgerald. And then she said, Kwame, I can teach you how to write poetry, but I can't teach you how to be interesting.
Ooh. Ooh, that's deep. Now that is deep. Way down deep.
I've been thinking about all these years about what she meant by that, and recently, this is what I came up with. This is perhaps what she was trying to say to me. Yeah, something like this. Kwame, write a poem with vision that shines a light for the world to see, that looks copper sun in the eye and doesn't blink. Write a poem that kneels beneath the silver moon and prays hard for us. Like some Baptist church split, let your poem walk a tightrope between Congregation 1 and Congregation 2. Write a poem that reads. Please write a poem that reads more than headlines and sitcom credits. Write a cultured poem that knows how to talk, not some misbehaving foul mouth looking for attention. An eloquent poem. Kwame, write a poem that dances wild and free, naked on the floor. A gutsy poem that listens to jazz and understands it. Write a poem with golden letters that make golden words. Yeah, golden letters that make golden words.
Golden letters, golden letters, golden letters, make golden words. Golden letters, golden letters, golden letters with golden words.
Write a poem that reminds us we are all beautiful. Write a poem that looks good, not homely or sway back. Give it posture, poise, and profile. Let it dress like it belongs to be in the room. A pulchritudinous poem. Turn our heads when it walks by. On some superficial level, make us want to marry it. Or at least remember its name the next morning. Write a poem that goes to work, has a job and does it promptly, follows rules and responsibilities, gets a raise or at least a head nod. And when it's not feeling well, when your poem ain't feeling well, Kwame, give it sense enough to call in sick and not waste our time with unmet expectations. Write a poem that offers us a hug, or better yet, let it plant a kiss that sends us soaring above this cloud of darkness. Write a poem, Jericho, with golden words that make golden sounds. You hear me? Golden words that make golden sounds.
That's what I mean. Golden words, golden letters, golden words with golden sounds. Golden words, golden letters, golden words with golden sound.
Write a poem that cooks. Write a poem that cooks. I mean, it ain't got to bake a cake, but at least let it know the ingredients. Write a poem that exercises. I mean, cycling is not required, but a walk in the park never hurt nobody. Write a poem that runs for office. I mean, it ain't got to win, but at least let it campaign. Get a clue, poets. Get a clue, poets. Write a poem with an inkling of suspicion. I mean, it ain't got to solve a crime, but at least let it offer us a tip. Write a poem that is contagious. Write a poem, Donna Maria, that is contagious. Write a poem that is contagious. Write a poem that is contagious. Let it inspire. Let it inspire. Make us want to write a poem about how beautiful and breathtaking and hopeful and brilliant and beautiful and breathtaking and tragic and hopeful and golden life is.
Golden, 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 golden letters, golden letters and words, golden letters and golden words, yeah, 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 golden words, golden letters, golden letters, golden words.
I can't sit down no more. That bass.
Come on, golden.
And y'all here, so I feel like y'all need to join in on this. All right, it's golden letters, golden letters, golden letters. It's what Nikki did in Acolytes and Quilting the Black Eyed Peas and My House and Love Poems and Bicycles. Are y'all ready? Here we go. Golden letters. Golden letters. Golden letters.
Golden
I feel like Kirk Franklin. Golden letters, y'all.
Golden letters.
Make golden words.
Golden.
Oh, that's wonderful. Y'all gotta be a little louder. Up here.
Golden letters.
Yes, for Nikki.
Golden letters.
Yes.
Golden letters. Make golden words.
Who y'all? All right, last one.
Yes. Harmony.
I see you, Pat. Tell Bo to sing. Tell Bo to sing. Joe Vet's in the house. Yeah.
Yes.
Golden. That's it. Golden.
Here
One more
we go.
time. One more time.
Yeah.
Golden letters. Golden letters. Golden letters. Make golden sound.
Y'all give it up for Natanju, Carol, Louise, Aisha, Romare, and Barbara. Sweet Honey in the Rock.
Kwame,
Yeah. Oh, y'all bad.
Toni Medina is a poet of conscience and conviction. His voice has long championed the people Nikki wrote for and about.
Hello. My name is Edwige Dantika. I'm not Toni Medina. He's right here behind me. And this is Tayari Jones, the three of us.
She's Toni Medina.
The three of us are here to talk about Nikki together because we loved her so much. And as Renée and Goldie said, Nikki was great at loving and also great at teaching others how to love. I will start by reading from her poem, Love is a Human Condition. Nikki wrote about creatures great and small. I suppose a case could be made that there are more amoebas than people, that they comprise the physical majority and therefore the moral right. But luckily, amoebas rarely make television appeals to higher gods and baser instincts. The night loves the stars as they play about the darkness. The day loves the light caressing the sun. We love those we do because we live in a world requiring light and darkness, partnership and solitude, sameness and difference, the familiar and the unknown. We love because it's the only true adventure. Thank you, Nikki, for all the great adventures and for all your love.
I first studied Nikki Giovanni when I was a student at Spelman College, and we studied her as the princess of the Black arts movement. We read her fiery poems where she took no prisoners in discussing America and its hierarchies, its injustices. And there are some people who say that she mellowed as she got older, but I disagree. I think that as she got older, Nikki deepened. She was as critical as ever of the injustices all around us. But she also turned her eye on herself and encouraged the rest of us to look at ourselves, because she believed that the writer had a responsibility and an obligation to speak up, to tell the truth. But she believed this was not true only for artists, for poets, for writers. She believed that every single one of us has an obligation to stand up for what is right. And this is more relevant than ever during these days we are living in right now. And doing what is right does not end with politics. It's also the way we treat each other in our relationships. It is the way that we treat all creatures, big and small. And sometimes in her poetry, she will let the metaphor lead the story and let our imaginations and our conscience do the rest. I'm going to read a poem called Allowables. Allowables. I killed a spider, not a murderous brown recluse, nor even a black widow. And if the truth were told, this was only a small, sort of papery spider who should have run when I picked up the book. But she didn't, and she scared me, and I smashed her. I don't think I'm allowed to kill something because I am frightened.
I'm honored to be here for Nikki Giovanni. I'm honored to be here with my sisters Edwige Dantika and Tayari Jones. This piece I wrote when Nikki was with us in the present, so it's going to remain in the present tense. For Virginia Ginny Fowler, for Palestine, for LA in rebellion, 25 reasons to love Nikki Giovanni. because she loves us, because she loves her family, because she makes white folks chauvinists, academics, pseudo-intellectuals, narrow-minded ideologue, conservatives crazy, and the black bourgeoisie too. Because she says black love is black wealth. Because, as Richard Pryor said of John Wayne, she kicked cancer's ass. Because from her sickbed, after lung surgery, recuperating at a friend's house, she saved a newly hatched robin who fell out of his mama's nest. Because she took care of her father and her mother and raised an exceptional black male. Because she was the original rap star and her records created spoken word movement. Because she is a poet of ideas, commitment, compassion, and truth. Because she says a writer writes from empathy. Because she was born on the same day as Gwendolyn Brooks and Prince, and as a Gemini admits her contradictions. Because as a mother of the revolution, she celebrates the potential and possibility of a Tupac Shakur, the beautiful black boy that he was, taken from us too soon with his thug life tattoo. Because as a child, she fought her sister's battles to preserve her hands for piano. Because at her lectures and in the classroom, like a street corner Socrates, she does stand-up routines and tops them off with poems. Because she kidnaps you into her ego trips. Because she drove all night to make it to Dr. King's funeral. Because she loves Emmett Till and Malcolm X and Martin Luther King and A$AP Brown and Tupac Shakur and Langston Hughes and Don L. Lee, Haki, and that little crazy cat Leroy. Because she loves Aretha and Angela Davis and Gwendolyn Brooks and Toni Morrison and all black women. Because she cares about the environment and earthlings and thinks hunters for sport should be the endangered species. Because she fears running over squirrels and cats and rabbits or deer, skunks and groundhogs. Because she had black girls wear afros, and the first time I heard her name, a white girl sang, Shakespeare, Maya, Angelou, and Nikki Giovanni, just to name a few. I'm talking square, square biz. Because her books are better than TV. Because she asked, nigga, can you kill? And followed it up with, imagine what a slave ship must have sounded like to the women. Because she says, love is a tremendous responsibility, and touching is the true revolution. So this is a poem for the woman with 1,000 PhDs and keys to every city, who made the world see through her heart and mind, her intellect and rhyme, her black feeling, black thought on paper, vinyl, and CD, in the open air, how necessary and beautiful black is.
A musician whose saxophone speaks with depth and soul, he collaborated with Nikki to bring her poetry into new sonic dimensions. Tonight, he lets music carry what words sometimes cannot. We are honored by the musical presence of Javon Jackson.
Hello. Good afternoon. It's an honor for us to be here, the group, and I would like to say that in the fall of 2019, I'm a professor, chair of jazz studies at the University of Hartford, and I went to my then president and asked him if I would get the okay from him to invite Nikki Giovanni to get an honorary degree during Black History Month of 2020. He said, sure. You sure that she can do it? I said, absolutely. I didn't know her. I got on the internet and I found Professor Virginia Fowler would be the person I would speak to. Reached out to her, long story short. We got it arranged, and Nikki came on February 5, 2020. Upon meeting her, we sit down, we're having a conversation. We get to talk to each other, and I get to find out how much she loves jazz and Negro spirituals. And after she got the degree, we went to dinner later, and I found two more things that she really loved: champagne and oysters. And I was lucky because I picked a restaurant called Max's Oyster Bar. And between us and three other, we probably ate about 6 dozen oysters. Seriously. I told her I'd be in touch. I appreciated her being there, and just had an epiphany to ask her if she would pick 10 spirituals from my next CD. And she did, and she said, I have one request I'd like to sing. I'm not a singer, but I want to do one piece. I said, you're Nikki Giovanni. So that was the beginning of our first recording, and then she had an idea for a second recording, which was Javon and Nikki go to the movies, and Nikki knew all of the American Broadway standard lyrics. I'm not kidding. She would come on stage and just begin to sing songs that none of us knew the lyrics to, the music to, but she has such a vast history and appreciation for jazz and the music, and that was something that we really appreciated as a quartet, and we did 15 to 20 concerts and just a wonderful time with her on stage. We'd like to play 2 pieces for you. One is from the Gospel according to Nikki Giovanni, and the second is from Javon and Nikki Go to the Movies. She would normally read, so I'm going to read one of the poems. I know she's getting a kick out of this, but I'm going to read one of the poems that I feel really speak to today's times, and it's called A Very Simple Wish. I do want to say one thing before we play, is that the Gospel according to Nikki Giovanni was my choice. She didn't like that title because she said it made her seem arrogant. I said, well, I will always let folks know it was my choice and not yours. So we're going to do Wade in the Water and a piece I wrote for Nikki entitled Theme for Nikki. Thank you. I want to write an image like a log cabin quilt pattern and stretch it across all the lonely people who just don't fit in. We might make a world if I do that. I want to boil a stew with all the leftover folk whose bodies are full of empty lives. We might feed a world if I do that. Twice in our lives we need direction. When we are young and innocent, when we are old and cynical. But since the old refused to discipline us, we now refuse to discipline them, which is a contemptuous way for us to respond to each other. I should imagine if nature holds true, one day we will lose our hands, since we do no work nor make any love. If nature is true, we shall lose our eyes, since we cannot even now distinguish the good from the evil. I should imagine we shall lose our souls, since we have so blatantly put them up for sale and glutton the marketplace, thereby depressing the price. I wonder why we don't love. Not some people way on the other side of the world with strange customs and habits. Not some folk whom we were sold hundreds of years ago, but people who look like us, who think like us, who want to love us. Why don't we love them? I want to make a quilt of all the patches and find one long, strong pole to lift it up. I have a mind to build a new world. Want to play? Jeremy Manassi at the piano, David Williams at the bass, McClenty Hunter at the drums, your truly Javon Jackson. Thank you very much. Love you, Nikki Giovanni, forever. Thank you.
Through her creation of the History Makers, she has preserved the stories that define us. Tonight, she helps us remember a voice that will forever echo in our cultural memory. We are grateful to be joined by Julieanna Richardson.
Good evening. I want to talk to you tonight about Nikki Giovanni, the historian, and Nikki Giovanni, the lover of archives. For me, Nikki Giovanni was my North Star. I would bring her to Martha's Vineyard to talk to our history makers about the importance of preserving their papers. As I speak, most of the nation's libraries, museums, and archives do not have Black people in them. For me and for Nikki, preservation equaled value. It represented community and Black legacies. I want to take you to 1971 when Nikki was helping Ellis Hazlett produce Soul, and she traveled to London. We saw that iconic interview, She is Fierce, at age 28. James Baldwin, he knew he had met his intellectual equal, and someone who was 17 years his junior. It was also in 1971 that she published her book, Gemini. No wonder Howard Gottlieb of Boston University, also in '71, asked her about BU serving as her repository. BU was the repository for Reverend Martin Luther King's papers and the noted theologian Howard Thurman. Later, Nikki would encourage Sonia Sanchez to house her papers, also at BU. You see, Virginia Tech is her academic home, BU is her archival home. Not only at that time did Nikki say yes, but she asked that her papers be sealed for the entirety of her life. Now, for those of you who don't know about archives and sealing, that means that no one could get access to her archives. Now, I found that extraordinary and curious at the same time. I asked her, how did she come to that decision? And like many people who have shared the stage today, she looks at me with that Nikki look. And she says to me, I want my life, I want to live my life unfettered and unencumbered. And then when I die, then everybody can take a look. And so literally from 1971 to her death, she methodically sent to BU over a 53-year period, 185 boxes of her materials. We have Howard Gottlieb to thank and his so able successor, Vita Palladino, for being such good and amazing and trustful stewards of that collection. Here today, we have Jennifer Gunter King, who is now in charge of BU's archives. Jennifer, can you stand, because you're gonna oversee making this archive accessible through... This archive will be made accessible through digitization and available to the world. Jenny, my Jenny, you will be the steward, and it is my prayer and hope that your voice and likeness will also be housed alongside that of Nikki Giovanni's in these archives. Where there was Nikki, there was you, Jenny. And where there was Jenny, there was Nikki. On January 31st, we interviewed Nikki for the Historymakers Archives, having been introduced to her by theater founder and Wintergreen member, Val Gray Ward. In 2005, we would bring Nikki and Jenny to Atlanta for a reception hosted in their honor by writer Elin Harris. and to honor her in a production of An Evening with Nikki Giovanni that aired nationally that same year on PBS. The date was June 18th, 2005. We asked Pearl Cleage to do the interview, which she agreed to readily, and we began the program with my favorite, and the favorite of many here in this audience, and Nikki's ode to Black women, Ego Tripping. Let's take a look.
But the men always had a way to say who they were. And you get tired of the little girls always doing the little Johnny Walker, sat in the saucer, and they're always, looking to the east and west for someone to love them. And I thought, crap. Little girls, little girls need one. And so I wanted to write one of those poems for little girls. And the rule in writing is start at the beginning. And so I'm driving down to Livingston campus, and I'm driving, that's like, whoa, wait. I was born in the Congo. Once you get your first line, right? And it just, historic, I just made everybody, I just made everybody a Black woman, right? So I got Christopher Columbus, because he's the one who sailed west to east, right? He's gonna have to round, the Black woman is everything. And I just wanted to do that so the little girls could do it. But I was at a daycare center, and they said, we want to perform for you. And so I was like, that's cool, because it's the first time you hear somebody call you Miss Giovanni, you feel old. But they were little kids. And a little boy got up. And I was born in the Congo, because I never thought of boys liking that poem. And so the surprise and the delight, I knew I had a good poem once it was finished, but to know that I had a poem that inclusive was wonderful. And I think that's what's made it live, that it is an inclusive, it did not exclude anybody, because I think everybody's a Black woman anyway.
Performing Ego Tripping under the direction of Goldie Patrick are Mahogany Browne, Glenis Redmond, Wanisha Brooks, Toni Blackman, Nyala Smith, Samayah Alexander, and Dr. Tonya Maria Matthews.
I was born in the Congo. I walked to the Fertile Crescent and built the Sphinx. I designed a pyramid so tough that a star
that only glows every 100 years falls into the center, giving divine, perfect light. I am bad.
I sat on the throne,
drinking nectar with Allah.
I got hot, so I sent an ice age to Europe to cure my thirst. My oldest daughter is Nefertiti. The tears from my birth pains created the Nile. You're welcome. I am a beautiful woman.
Yes, you are.
I gazed on the forest and burned out the Sahara Desert with a packet of goat's meat and a change of clothes. I crossed it in 2 hours.
I am Gazelle, so swift you can't catch me.
For a birthday gift, I gave my son Hannibal an elephant. He gave me Rome for Mother's Day.
All right, go girl. My strength flows ever on.
My son Noah built New Ark, and I stood proudly at the helm as we sailed on a soft summer day.
I turned myself into myself and was genius. Men intone my loving name. All praises, all praises.
I am the one who saved.
I sold diamonds in my backyard. My vows deliver uranium. The filings for my fingernails are semi-precious jewels.
On a trip north, I caught a cold and blew my nose, giving oil to the Arab word.
I am so hip, even my errors are correct.
I sailed west to get to east and had to round off the earth as I went.
The hair from my head thin and gold was laid across 3 continents. I am.
So perfect. So divine. So ethereal. So surreal.
I cannot be comprehended.
Except by my permission. I mean, I can.
I can. I can. I can. I can.
I can.
Fly like a bird in the sky.
We love you, Nikki. We love you, Nikki. We love you, Nikki. Thank you all, and good night.